very often wonder what's involved in setting up an astrological chart. When a person wants their astrological chart set up, they need their birth date, very important, their birth time, usually very important, and their birthplace. We need the birthplace because we do corrections for degrees of longitude and latitude. We need the birth time to determine what their ascendant or their rising sign is, and the degree of the moon in their chart. Now, in the old days, we used to have to go through a lot of math to get to our final chart. We would need the person's birth time, which we would put in here. We would use a book, and this one is Longitudes and Latitudes in the United States. They also have them worldwide, to do the correction for true local time and to determine the true longitude and latitude of the person's birthplace, and to do another mathematical correction. We would need what's called the sidereal time from the ephemeris, and we would also need to use time changes in the United States to determine whether the person was born during daylight savings time or wartime, and to make an additional correction. To set up the outside of the chart, we would need Dalton's table of houses, which, following the figure arrived at the complex mathematical formula, would give us the ascendant and the degrees for each of the houses in the zodiac, after which we would go back to the ephemeris and fill in the positions of the sun, moon, and planets. That was so last century. In this, the modern age, we have computers. And what used to be a very time-consuming task, I got it down to about half an hour at my best to set up a chart, can now be done in seconds. And for this, we will have a client come in and we'll show you what actually happens in a reading. And your name is Robert Smith. And your birthday, Bob. You know what time you're born?
12:43 in the afternoon.
And where were you born?
St. Louis, Missouri.
And here comes the chart. With this review, current chart. And there you go. So what used to take about half an hour now takes about 90 seconds. So with this chart, we can tell that Bob has Leo rising, and he's a very unusual person. Bob has a good sense of drama. Bob tends to be in the lead a little bit. He's a very independent person, with Uranus being in his first house. With Pluto being in his first house, people pay attention to Bob, but Bob can sometimes be overly sensitive, and I'd want to say a bit on the demanding side. With Neptune in the third house, Bob may not always express himself as clearly as he needs to, and has tendencies towards escapism, whether it's reading too much television, or perhaps overindulging in substances. The Saturn is in Bob's 7th house, so Bob is a very loyal person. Bob is one of these people that once he gets married, he wants to stay married. Sometimes people view him as being very cold, but he does have a good sense of justice. Again, Bob has a brilliant mind. His Mercury and his Mars are together in the 9th house. With Bob's Mars and Jupiter together, he likes to spend money, but he likes to make it as well. With those many planets in his 9th house, higher education is very important to him. He may be more interested in foreign affairs or foreign travel. And again, his sun is right at the top of the chart, so people pay a lot of attention to Bob. With his Venus and his Moon in his 11th house of friendships, Bob probably has more female friends than male friends, and a tendency to be quite social. What are your concerns today, Bob? Why did you come and visit me here?
Well, it's concerned about my health and my wife's health, and financials.
Financial?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it looks like you, with that Mars and a Jupiter together again, Bob, you probably do okay as far as making the money. The thing is that they're all in the Taurus, so this seems to me like you like the best of things. And I want to say about a year and a half ago, it seems as if you had some financial setbacks that you may find yourself bouncing out of. Your money's not bad this year, but I'm going to be very honest with you. Next year it's better. Okay? Next year it's much better. But this is also indicating to me is that this fall from, actually fall and winter, October going through, I'd want to say late February, that there's going to be lots of lessons that you will be learning about your finances, about your money. It's a good time period to learn how to invest, things of that nature. When you're looking for a consultant, whether it's an astrologer or whether it's another psychic consultant, it would be a good thing for you to look around, ask how many years they've been in business. Sometimes if you ask a friend, they may know of a good psychic or a good astrologer. Sometimes beauty shops, beauty parlors can be places to get references. Call and ask how long the person's been in business as well. Should you go to a person who says they're an astrologer, ask them if they know what a progress chart is. If they don't know what a progress chart is, they're probably not an astrologer. And also if you go to see a psychic or an astrologer, if you go in and they tell you that you have a hex on you, you have bad energy around you, they need $100 to burn a candle for you, or $150 for a meditation agreement, or $300 for special oils from Jerusalem, and they suggest that you come back to them every week. Right? This is a very common occurrence with people who have gone to see so-called psychics. And if you want more information on that, go to gypsypsychicscams.com. Also, if you go to a reader, reputable reader should not have a problem with letting you tape the session. Since it is your session, your reading, you should be able to have a tape or make notes in it, because a lot of times information comes out during the session that it's quite a bit of information. You would not remember it. The reader won't remember it either. So we're taping Mr. Smith's session here just so that he can have a record of it later on. If they don't let you tape, there's probably something wrong. So, Mr. Smith, do you have any other questions or concerns today?
Yes, about my vacation time.
Do you know when you want to take the vacation?
The last time we talked, I showed you how to use your herbs after you've dried them out in a magical way, such as your incense. This time, I'm going to show you how to use them in a type of medicinal way. Now, in these 2 cups, I have hops flowers, rose petals, and again we have the chamomile and lavender. Once again, we're going to use our mortar and pestle, and just a little bit in there. Envisioning the energy coming up from your feet, through your body, into your hands, and infusing the herbs with them. As you grind them down, this time they don't have to be as thin as they were or as powdery as they were for your incense. Just a little bit to release the oils is fine. After you've ground them, a simple all-natural tea bag, paper, they're open on one end that you can just pour in. Sometimes these can be a little bit difficult to find. Health food stores will carry them. Specialty tea shops will have them. Simply folding it over and sealing it. You can now use this in a nice bath. You can use it in your pillow. As the scent permeates the air, you will find that you will drift off to sleep with these 4 herbs. If you're having a hard time finding these, the other thing you can use is a simple tea ball. Personally, for the baths, I prefer the larger one. It will hold much more herbs, and you just hang it over the faucet as the water is running down, just as you would for a tea. The smaller ones also work very well. They simply open up, you fill 1/2 with your herbs, close them, lock them, hang them on the faucet as the water is running into the tub. You can also let them just float around in the tub while you're in there. These are a little bit harder to use as far as nighttime and putting them in a pillow, but you can hang them on your bedpost also, which will let the fumes, the scent, come out through the air, and with this mixture you will also drift off to sleep. Now you've seen how to do that in a bath tea. We're also going to show you how to make a very simple, quick oil. These can be used to not only anoint candles, but you can also use them as a drop on your pillowcase. You can also wear them as a scent. Now a lot of people think that making the oils is very hard. It is not. It's very simple. In fact, putting your herbs in the bottle, preferably a colored bottle with a secure top so that the light does not ruin them. Any edible oil that you use in your kitchen will also work. My personal favorite is the sweet almond oil. It's very good for the skin, and it doesn't leave a rancid scent like something maybe like the corn oils might do after a while. Simply pour it in, enough to cover your herbs. Place the stopper back on. Give them a good shake. Place the bottle in a cool, dark area, and about once a day or so, once every other day, you want to pick it up again and give it a really good shake. You want to do this for about 2 to 3 weeks. My personal favorite is to leave them from full moon to full moon, and I create my oils on those nights. After they're done, all you simply do is take either a coffee filter, a strainer, a tea bag, pour it out into another container so that you strain out the herbs that are left in there. Then place a few more of the new herbs into the bottle, just to let you know what you have in there. When working with your herbs, there are certain tools that you're going to want to keep on hand. Mortar and pestles, coffee grinders, if you're working with any type of resins, are very good. However, be very careful not to overheat the resin, as they will turn gummy in the coffee grinder. When storing them, colored bottles, airtight. I like to find canning jars or anything with a rubber gasket on it that when sealed will keep all of the air out. Now by doing this, you will ensure that your herbs will stay fresh for roughly around 6 months. After that, try and turn them into some type of incense like we have done here with Earth's Bounty. What we do with here is the herbs that we have left. We mortar and pestle them, we bless them, and we turn them into an incense that will last us for the next year to come. For most of us city witches, we're not allowed the luxury of a large herb garden in our backyard. However, it is very feasible to have a beautiful herb garden such as this in a pot. You can place it out in front of your door, on your porch. They're low maintenance and very beautiful. And as the herbs start to grow up, what you want to do is when it comes time to harvest them, harvesting the flowers, the tops of the herbs, and also some of the more smaller leaves will help to ensure that you will get a very beautiful bouquet from them. Simply take the herbs, like in a bundle, and cut them with a sharp pair of scissors. Tie them with a ribbon onto your hanger, place them in a cool, dark place, and let them dry. After that, your imagination is your only boundary.
As many of you know, the sixth chakra, which is located in between the eyebrows right around here, is also known as the third eye. This region is where we sharpen our psychic and clairvoyant abilities and learn to trust our feelings even when there's no logical reason to do so. We hear things, we see things that aren't there, and become sensitive to non-reality based observations. There are 5 stones that I want to share with you that all help in opening this center. The first stone is amethyst, also known as the addiction breaker. Amethyst is a member of the quartz family and is one of the most widely used stones available. I like to call amethyst another one of my grandmother's stones, along with rose quartz, as it is very gentle yet firm and wise in guiding us to where we need to be. Amethyst helps us to let go of the things that no longer serve us, whether they are addictive or simply no longer useful in our lives. Amethyst calmly guides us towards believing in what we are perceiving, even if it makes no sense to our earthly senses. It will not force itself on you, but allow you to open on your own timetable with a soothing reminder to stay on task. Amethyst is also a wonderful tool to use when someone is dying, as it helps them to let go of the earth plane and for you to let go of them. This stone is a great connection to spiritual realms in a calming, peaceful manner. Azurite is a deep, beautiful blue stone that is a member of the malachite and chrysocolla family, making it very soft and allowing it to draw out hidden memories and past lives. I use this stone when clients have difficulty remembering their childhood experiences or lifetime traumas. It helps us to release the fear, anxiety, and stress of the occurrence so that we can move forward in our healing of it. It also enhances one's psychic abilities by clearing out the cobwebs of the mind, making it easy to access our talents in this area. Lapis lazuli is a stone that has been used in ancient times by high priests and priestesses to enhance wisdom. This stone is a gateway to awareness, giving us clear thought and attunement to the source of all knowledge. It connects the third eye with the throat, assisting in communicating information perceived through clairvoyant seeing. It is also used to remember dreams, which guide and counsel us. If you're someone who is wondering what your life path is, why you're here, what you're supposed to be doing in this life, then sugilite is your friend. This lovely purple stone from South Africa is here to help you find your soul's purpose in this lifetime. It provides you the courage to seek answers, stay on your course, and live a life of intention. Just know that this is not a stone that will back down and will goad you into action for your highest good, which may not always be the most comfortable way to live, but will bring you fulfillment. Along with sugilite, there is charoite, a lighter colored purple stone from Russia that helps to promote change in one's life. If you're searching for answers and purpose, using charoite will give you the stick-to-itiveness to complete the change you're seeking. This stone is a real bulldog and will help you persist until what you are looking for in your life is found. Charoite will boost your spirit to action until the transformation is complete. So there you have it. Mother Earth has provided stones for all of us to use for whatever endeavors or challenges we may have, be they spiritual, emotional, or physical. It's comforting to know that we have natural tools to assist us with whatever our purpose is in life. Pick them up, hold them, listen to them, and enjoy the journey.
The aura has been referred to as personal space, someone's good or bad vibrations, and the waters of life. The terms most used to equate, express, or describe the aura have been halo, nimbus, and aura. In the religious convention, the aura sometimes surrounded the head only. At other times, the whole body. The distinction was clarified precisely in the Christian art, where the luminous cloud around the whole body was termed the aureola. The luminous disk or halo around the head, a nimbus. And a combination of both, nimbus and aureola, was known as glory. The halo is usually seen as golden, yellow, or white in these particular prints. The pre-Christian tradition derived from identification of divine personage with the sun and its rays. Some confusion has arisen in the past and is continued by various writers as to whether, in referring to the aura, a very fine material manifestation is meant or a dense astral one. Each is possible, for there are two main divisions in the aura. Some refer or have referred to in the past as the aura as being possibly made up of ectoplasm, as they believe spirits and ghosts have been made of. Associated with the astral body is the aura, an emanation of energy from the total personality, which is radiated by the astral body. It is technically referred to as the beta force field, its counterpart being the electrical aura or alpha force field, which is related to the physical organism. There is more than one school of thought about the aura. Such a difference can lead to confusion in interpretations, so use of the same term does not equal use of the same location of the aura. The Book of Thought Forms notes that within the aura are the mental and desire bodies. These bodies are those chiefly concerned with the appearance of what are called thought forms. No conclusion has been made as of yet as to what the aura is really.
Lammas or Loafmas is celebrated on August 2nd, the halfway point between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. The summer sun begins to fade, the light diminishes, the days shorten, and the first harvest has come. The season's fullness bursts with ripened fruits that sway in the languid August breezes. At Lammas time we cut up the grain in order to bake the bread that will nourish our bodies. The corn and the grain must be reaped and harvested and torn apart before it can be metabolized. The grain seed is first killed, cut up, and buried so that it can produce the wheat plant. Then the wheat is killed, cut up, and put into an oven to produce bread. After that, the bread is chewed and masticated and put into our stomachs. All the dead and risen gods, such as Adonis, Attis, Tammuz, Osiris, and Jesus, are killed, buried, and resurrected to bring forth new life. The grain becomes the body of Christ that is eaten and transformed by the participants. When the grain has been harvested, it is then threshed and winnowed. This is accomplished by pounding the bundles of grain on the threshing floor with a wooden tool called a flail. So sacred was this process that the ancient pharaohs of Egypt were depicted holding a flail in one hand and a crook in the other. The threshing floor had such a powerful link to fertility that even today, in a wedding, the groom must carry the bride across the threshold on their wedding night. Liquor made from grains such as ale, beer, or whiskey is as much a part of the Lammas feast as bread. Whiskey means water of life, eau de vie, in Gaelic, and the god of grain is known affectionately as John Barleycorn. As we all know from the Old English folk song that Traffic made famous, that John Barleycorn must die. The Celtic name for Lammas is Lugnasad, in honor of the sun god Lugh, who is sacrificed so that all may live. At the ancient Greek temple at Eleusis, mystery rites were performed annually to honor the grain goddess Demeter. The participants were sworn to never divulge the contents of the ritual, but a small portion has been revealed over the centuries. In the ritual, each person was shown a single ear of corn and told, "Behold the ear of corn reaped in silence." Here we can see the early origins of the Christian communion ritual, with the corn replaced by a wafer. The goddess at this time of year becomes the Corn Mother, made out of wheat stalks and decorated with ribbons and jewelry. Since Lammas corresponds to Imbolc or Groundhog Day on February 2nd, the Corn Maiden of Imbolc now becomes the Corn Mother. As the goddess is eternal, she ripens and ages and sleeps through the winter to be renewed and become the Maiden of Spring once again. Lammas is the time to savor the fullness of summer, to taste the bountiful harvest, and to bask in the lazy days of crickets and grasshoppers.
7 brings with it quiet serenity. It is the vibration of meditation, therefore is frequently considered a holy or sacred number by many cultures. 7 is the number for teaching and religious pursuits. 7 is non-material. It is not a good work number, but does enhance any work number associated with it. 7 is for the solitary, the time to be alone. 7 also depicts the unexpected. Things may happen by chance under 7's influence. Often under 7, it is best to try to succeed at something even if you have initial failures. It can happen that what you succeed at will be different from, but related to, whatever you attempted to try. Under 7, people have difficulty seeing things as they are, because 7's true nature may be veiled. People may then misinterpret what they see and hear. The Chariot, under the force of number 7, is something of a loner, but more importantly, he is that synthesis of ideas and ideals that becomes the will. Esoteric doctrine states that there is only one will, the will of God, and yet there is always the claim that all living things possess free will, their own. This seeming paradox lies in the flow of the river depicted. All will comes from God and flows through the field of personal existence. Persons are instruments and agencies of the one life. The human form is the vehicle, or chariot, through which the spiritual man, or soul, simply finds its expression in performing God's will. Receptivity is the personal attitude indicated by this key, through which action may take place.